On today's Glory Days show, the Islanders season comes to a disappointing end as they lose their second-round series to Tampa Bay, setting it up an interesting offseason. Islanders blogger B.D. Galoff will join us to talk about what they need to do.
And what about the rest of the NHL playoffs? We'll talk to Pete Torgerson and review all of the series, and we'll preview the conference finals.
And Mets pitcher Bartolo Colon was the story of the week as he hit his first home run in San Diego last weekend. We will talk to a member of the Seven Line Army who was there to witness this historic event.
So don't touch that mouse. The best hour of your sports week is coming up on Glory Days right now.
Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, May 14th, 2016, and you are watching The Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco. My name is Paul Discofani, and this is my good friend, Bruce Oler. Kyle Melnick and Brittany Berger are behind the glass, along with Matt Berenson today. He's hanging out.
Pronunciation right?
I think so.
Okay.
And you are joining us on the Inravio TV network, where we stream live from Studio C right here in the great state of New York. Good morning.
Nice weather for a change, huh?
I know, right? We got rid of all that rain and crap and that cold weather.
Yeah. So what's happening with you, my friend?
It's been okay. My knee is bothering me.
Yeah, you were saying that.
My knee. I think I'm going to have to get fluid drained from my knee. I may have to go on the DL. But I have to ask you.
Yeah.
I want to know, how come you have not yet released your income tax reports?
Oh, I have. I already got my refund, by the way, my friend.
Me too. All I know is I would release my income tax reports. I don't want anyone to know what a criminal I really am. Anybody's tax returns. It's like, you know what tax returns are like? They're like resumes. Okay? Everybody lies on their resume. They don't lie. Well, they just make it look different than it actually is.
Well, what part of lying are you talking about? your expenses or your income?
Well, the income you can't dispute.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Whatever's on the books you can't dispute. Like the money that we get for this show. It's all off the books. So it's never reported on our tax returns.
So Google IRS and we're bound to show up, I guess. I don't know. So a little drama this week with my daughter.
Oh, what happened with your daughter?
Well, she's going for a master's degree, and she graduates this Friday, the 20th, from Stony Brook. Like I say, master's of social work. She needs there's a licensing part of this thing, so she needs to take this test afterwards, things like that. All right. So she had a couple of papers due and presentation, and then her last final was supposed to be this past Thursday, 2 days ago. Okay. She gets an email from the school saying that the test had been compromised. It had been leaked on the internet, and the test was going to be rescheduled.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yes. So actually, she's taking a test right now. That's why she's not watching our show, because she's such an avid viewer of our show.
So all that money she paid to get the answers went down the tubes?
This guy, man, you're taking all these stories in the wrong direction. Well, but I do remember.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know the pressure of taking tests.
Yeah.
And that's why we all hated school. We couldn't wait to get out of school. Because you know the material, you gear up for it, and you do well on the test. Even if you take that same test, you may not necessarily give the same answers. It's just not the same thing.
No.
And I'll give you an example. when I write something, okay, I write the whole thing and I construct it and I know how I'm going to write it and what I'm going to say, and I write the whole story, right? And then if I don't save it and I lose it, I could never write the exact same story again.
Not.
I just forget what I had written, and of course now there's more pressure because now I'm out of time and I got to redo it in a shorter period of time and stuff. So I just thought, I just think it's not fair to redo the test.
Yeah. Well, and you always think about, we're going to talk about hockey today, and the Stanley Cup and things like that. And it's always about, we're going to talk about the fact that I guess the two top teams are out, right? But what this whole story becomes is, it's peaking at the right time, okay? So I can guarantee my daughter was peaking for Thursday, okay? And now this final gets moved to 2 days,
Yeah.
She might fail.
I don't think she's going to fail, but she certainly.
Of course, I'd be a little dramatic.
So she won't get a 4.0.
Yeah.
She'll get a 3.97.
Yes, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Do they get like those types of averages?
I believe they do. Yeah, and I think if she doesn't have a 4.0, she's pretty close to that. She's a smart girl.
Congratulations, really.
Yeah.
The fact that she's doing that. And she stuck with it, and she did the whole thing. That's a lot of work, man.
It is.
Masters is a lot of work.
It is, and she's very stressed out about it. So I'm glad to see it's over. Now real life stress begins.
All right, let's talk about real life stress for a second.
Okay.
If you remember last week, we talked about the Kentucky Derby with our good friend Jerry Schwarzman.
Yes.
Now Jerry Schwarzman,
and he kind of just about guaranteed that Exaggerator, and he wasn't exaggerating.
He was not exaggerating, but he guaranteed that Exaggerator would win, and of course,
Exaggerator did not win.
Exaggerator did not win.
Nyquist win.
So I got a note from Jerry that says that I salvaged some of the tickets that I bought. You can use these for confetti on the next Mets World Series ticket tape parade. So here's Jerry Schwarzman's Exaggerator tickets.
Losing tickets.
So what we'd like to do is just honor our good friend Jerry Schwarzman here on the Glory Day Show for the great job that he does. Thank you, Jerry.
I think you got something on your head there. Okay, there you go.
So that's our horse racing segment for today.
He'll be back to make his next set of losing predictions in a couple of weeks. What's the next one? The Preakness?
We're not going to be here for the Preakness, but he will. We will have him for the Belmont.
Belmont.
We'll have him for the
Okay.
Belmont. So anyway, all righty.
So and then I guess that big concert in the desert. Now they're doing a second weekend. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't realize. But
Yeah.
I did hear about the unbelievable ticket prices.
Oh yeah.
This is the regular ticket prices. The regular ticket prices are between $900 and $1,500
Per night.
I think it's per night.
Per night.
But that
steep.
is not Woodstock.
That's steep. That's right. That's right.
This is not Woodstock.
And like I
that's
say,
going
I
on
just
here.
thought I heard that they added a second.
A weekend. Is it going to be the same people, or are they going to do?
Yeah, no, I think it's a redo. I think that's
wow.
what it is.
I guess they're not making enough.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when they made that big deal of Billy Joel, the last play at Shea, right?
Yeah.
And people bought tickets, and they said, "Oh, we could sell out another concert." And they had that concert after the one, so the people that bought those tickets thinking it was the last one wind up not being the last
Right.
one.
It's just not right.
No, it's not.
That's what you got to do. All righty. So you know what? I think we should get started with our hockey coverage.
I would be great.
You know what? We're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk to Pete Torkelson, and we'll recap the Round 2 series, and we'll take a look at the Final Four in the race for the Stanley Cup. Waiting in the wings is Islander blogger B.D. Galoff, who'll join us to talk about what the Islanders need to do in the off-season. So stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back.
over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Welcome back to the Glory Days show here with Bruce and Disco here on the Inravio TV network. You know, I think I say here twice. I don't know why.
I don't know. Okay. It doesn't say here twice.
I know it doesn't. Both of the second round playoff series in the Western Conference went to 7 games, and 9 of the 25 games needed overtime. In the first round, 2 first-place teams were sent packing. With just 4 teams left, the best teams in the regular is out. If there's any doubt the Stanley Cup playoffs are the best playoffs in all the sports, on our phone is a man that works overtime to bring you the best coverage anywhere on the internet when it comes to hockey, our hockey maven, Pete Torgerson. Pete, you out there?
Gentlemen, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm great. Got a little hockey hangover this morning.
Yeah, hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Have you ever seen a goaltender taken off the ice on a stretcher?
Yeah, unfortunately I have, but I've never seen a 6'8" goalie get taken off on a stretcher made for a 5'10" guy.
They even left his pads on.
He looked like Shrek.
Now, I know how traumatic it must have been for the Lightning to see that, but I thought it was traumatic for the viewers. I mean, here's this gigantic. I didn't even know where they got a stretcher big enough for this guy.
Well, it wasn't.
I mean, plus he's got a leg injury. They didn't think that let's take the pads off him and see what's going on.
Yeah, you know why? Because there was a director in somebody's ear telling the refs, "Hey, let's scrape this guy off the ice. We're coming in at 11 o'clock. We got to be off the air by."
I hope not.
Oh, absolutely.
How badly is he hurt? Do we know yet?
I tell you, my layman view, I think he's done it. It seemed to me like he blew out his knee because he was in a lot of pain.
Well, this morning, I could give you an update. This morning, they said X-rays were negative, and he had no structural damage. So that could be good.
Who's your source? Usually they just say lower body injury.
Yeah, exactly right.
Look at Disco digging away in the corners. I love it.
I've got nothing else to do. That's my problem.
I think the fact you know that is probably a HIPAA violation someplace.
There you go.
Somebody's
going to jail now, okay? Who is your source, Disco?
Listen, I have access to a lot of medical records.
There you go. Ixnay on the medical records.
There you go.
All right, so let's talk about that Tampa Bay Pittsburgh series. So they lose their goaltender, and Andrei Vasilevsky. He's a 21-year-old kid, but he played with Chicago last year, and he actually had to do the same thing.
That's right. So you know what? Everybody's panicking.
Yeah,
I think this just makes Tampa a stronger team.
Listen, they scored 3 goals after Ben Bishop left.
Yeah. So let's look at Tampa. So 2011, they had that series that went 7 games with the Bruins. That Game 7, probably one of the best hockey games of all time, the 1-0 game where Stamkos took the slap shot in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they started building their so almost dynasty.
Yeah.
So then they won 2 divisions. They got to the finals last year. They're ready. They've paid their dues. This is their year. They're going to win it all this year.
Are they the Kansas City Royals of hockey?
Yeah. Well, you know what? The Islanders, I think, are at the first steps of where Tampa was 2-3 years ago. You got these kids that are in that 23 to 26, 27 range. They're learning how to play. They're learning how to win. And now, when they get to that 28, 29, 30, when you're playing your best hockey, that's when you win your Stanley Cups. And I think that's the model that the Islanders are using, and that's the model Tampa's used. And guess what? It's working. They bring in a few guys here and there. They bring in the Boyle and the other Ranger. What's his name? Callahan. So they get some guys that have been around. Boyle's played the most playoff games than any player in the NHL over the last 4 or 5 years.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
And they looks like they're getting Stamkos and Stroman back soon.
They might. They both skated.
That's a scary team, Pete.
So
You're right.
Team.
They are, and and then Victor Hedman. So now go back to the 2009 draft.
Yes.
So you got Tavares and Hedman. Who do you take? So
right.
For the Islanders, I was leaning towards Hedman because I said this guy could be the next Dennis Potvin. And guess what? He is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
They know the Islanders didn't make a bad move getting Tavares. Tavares, I think, is one of the best.
No,
players
because
in the league.
Pete, at the time, I remember we talked about this ourselves back then. But the thing was, at that point, the Islanders needed somebody who could put the puck in the net.
Yes.
They really needed that more than they needed defense, and I think that's what kind of finally swayed them.
And that's what they need now to put on the line with John Tavares too.
We need another one of those guys. The thing that Tampa Bay has shown me, and we talked about this last week, is the thing that made the Islander teams great, and really any team that wins a Stanley Cup great, is your ability to put the team away, put the team you're playing away. But not only that, but to take advantage of the end of the periods. When the things are lined. The Islanders were great.
Well,
at
and that's
that.
what they did to the Islanders. I mean, the Islanders went down in 5 games, and they probably outplayed them most of the time.
Listen, Tampa Bay has outscored their opponents 13-4 in two rounds. So that's what 8, 9 in 10 games. They've outscored them 13-4, and they also won 2 overtime games.
So they're losing their goalie who let in 4 goals, and they're not panicking.
Exactly.
Did you see when they scored the goal in overtime? They're not doing snowmen on the ice. They don't even raise their stick. They're like, okay, we won, let's go next.
Yeah.
So
very businesslike.
Right. They only had to play 10 games so far. These other teams are at the 14 point moving forward. So when you get to that final round, they could have 15 games under their belt, where these other teams are going to have up in the 21 area.
Right.
So that's going to just a grind. The beating these guys take, game after game. And I think the best thing they did this year, they didn't give up on Druin.
Right.
He was being a mental case. They let him do what he did. They sent him down to Syracuse. Say, listen, grow up a little bit, kid. Guess what? He's the best player on the ice now. So. I don't know. I think they're just doing it right down there.
So you like it? You like it, Tampa Bay there, Pete? You don't think Pittsburgh's got a chance?
No, they don't.
Okay. I don't think they do either.
And here's why. The other day, the coach had to scream at him. He told he got in front of the bench. He goes, "Everybody, shut the f up."
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Last night, they're on the power play. The guy steps up between guys. He takes a shot. They're yelling at each other on the ice. Okay, Sid the kid's he's not providing the leadership that's needed. They need some Sean Thornton type guy. They don't have the 4th line leadership that they need to tell these guys, shut up, or else I'm going to put you through the wall. Just play the game. They're whining too much. They're a bunch of babies, and they're done.
So, Pete, there's no hockey tonight,
Yeah, how could that be?
I am shocked when I saw that. I said, man, how could that be?
I'm reading a manual now how to talk to my wife.
Ship that to me after you're done, okay?
All right, let's turn our attention to the the other
Let's
series.
go West.
It doesn't start tonight,
Tomorrow.
but it starts tomorrow. Okay, you got San Jose. They were third place in the Pacific Division, and they're playing St. Louis, who was second place in the division. Both of these teams have never won a Stanley Cup.
And both teams prevailed in a 7-game series, which is Pete talking about before about the amount of games that are adding up here.
Right.
Okay. But both of those game 7s were blowouts, man. That surprised me. It really
Actually,
did.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
disappointed in my Nashville Predators. I thought they were going to bring it and take care of it. That was a shocker to me, because usually the Sharks just crawl up and die. But I don't know. They have some new leadership now, but they have the biggest slob in all of hockey, Jumbo Joe Thornton, out there. So he's making plays, but the guy has, in my opinion, has no heart. So I'm not a fan of his, and I don't think they can get over St. Louis. St. Louis, I love St. Louis. I loved them from the beginning.
You did.
Especially against Chicago. So I think we're going to end up with a Tampa St. Louis final. But this series, this Sharks Blue series, is going to be good. It's going to get ugly. I love St. Louis's defense on the Peter Angelo kid. I like him a lot. He was like selected right after Drew Doughty in that draft. And he's underrated. They got a bunch of underrated guys that you just don't you don't know.
Well, you know what, they wear people down. Granted, they've had 2 7-game series, but towards the end of those series, I mean, first of all, they wore the Blackhawks down, and obviously, you saw the Stars couldn't do anything in that game 7.
There's that defense I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're big. It's a big team.
Tell you what, though, with the Stars, and I know we're not talking about them because they're gone, but I tell you what, they got a mess there with their goaltender situation, don't you think, Pete?
Yeah. Marc-Andre Fleury, he'd be a nice fit out there. Or who else? Give me
Rick DiPietro. No.
Yeah. Let's send the Islanders goalie over there for Patrick Sharp or somebody.
There you go. Yeah, I like that idea. I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Now here's why I really like St. Louis, just their character, which Pittsburgh doesn't have. So they have that kid Schwartz, he's number 17 now. He used to be number 9. So his sister played at Yale. She was a nice hockey player at Yale. She got cancer and died.
Oh.
Okay. So they had a tribute game for her, and they planned it when the Blues were in town. They played the Islanders Thursday night. They were playing the Rangers Saturday night, or whichever way it was.
Mm-hmm.
The entire St. Louis team drove to New Haven on a bus, sat there, and watched the girls' game to support this kid and his sister. So
listen, character means a lot.
No question, and I like their big fat coach there behind the bench too. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about him. I'll tell you, I'm still not a fan of. I'm still not a fan of Ken Hitchcock, man. He always reminds me of Captain Kangaroo, man. He really does.
Yeah, he was his stunt double when. But he had a hard time getting jobs. He had to lose some weight, but once he got the job, he got back on the cheeseburgers, which I'd rather have a fat, happy coach than a thin, miserable one. But no, he's a good coach. I like what he does. I like the way he handles his team. And you know what? This poor guy. They've got knocked out in the first round 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
But they were going up against Chicago or top teams every year. So now
both these teams got rid of their personal bugaboos. St. Louis with Chicago, and the Sharks have been beaten by the Kings.
Yep. So they both got over the hump this year. Now, the question is, can they get to the next level? And I like the Blues much more than the Sharks.
Well, Captain Kangaroo has won the Cup. Maybe, not with St. Louis, but with Dallas, right?
So, all right. So here's a question. St. Louis has never won the Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. Have they been to the Stanley Cup Finals? Do you know?
I'm sure they have.
Come on, May 10th, 1970.
1970, Pete Torgerson.
Bobby Orr scores the winning goal. Noel Picard from the St. Louis Blues is tripping him.
That's exactly right.
That's an easy question.
Yeah. I knew you knew that.
Well, and I got it right, too, though.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Well, because, when they divided them into two divisions, they always won, so I figured they always had to probably get to the Cup,
Right. And they got beat by Montreal, Boston. That's when they had Red Berenson was the big guy, the Plager brothers. Right. So they were the best team in the West until
Barclay Plager.
Until Philadelphia said, "Listen, let's get some guys and beat the crap out of them. And they did, and then they won.
Old-time hockey, man. Old-time. Well, that's not really old-time hockey.
All right, so Pete, I think we might all be on the same page here. That we're looking at a Tampa St. Louis Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, and Hockey Mamba had St. Louis from the beginning this year.
There you go.
And Tampa was my team last year, and my nepotism got in the way that I was pulling for the Islanders to knock them off, but deep down, I knew the Islanders were a year away from getting over that next hump. Let's win. They won their first series this year. Next year they win 2, maybe 3, maybe get to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then go from there.
Well, you know, we're gonna have one of the Islanders, the guy who writes for the Islanders, B.D. Galoff, is coming on the show right after you, and we're going to talk about the things that the Islanders need to do in the off season to take that next step, just to cement it, you know.
So we will
what do
see.
they do? This guy new goalie, what are they going to do?
Well, you know what? Like you said, maybe they need to trade one of the 3 goalies.
Yep.
Because let's face it, there's nobody out there. There aren't a lot of free agents out there that's going to just come here.
Right.
You know, a lot of the free agents in hockey want to go to nice places.
Yeah, well, you don't want to go someplace where you have a 3-hour commute to get to your rink.
Exactly, and I think that might hurt them. And we're going to talk to BD about that type of stuff.
So Pete, great talking to you, my friend. We will continue to correspond with you as we get to the finals. You know,
we will. Actually, we're going to be off for a couple of weeks, so we'll talk to you probably when we get to the finals.
Beautiful.
Sounds good. And then you know what it is? The overperforming Boston Red Sox, who I said would be lucky to win 40 games this year, are at the top of the AL East. So
that's amazing.
Go figure.
They had 3 games in a row with 13 runs.
Yeah.
That's an amazing statistic.
That's why I'm the hockey mom, but not the baseball.
That's right, Pete. We won't let you forget that either. Okay.
All righty, Pete. Thanks.
All right, guys. Good job. We'll talk to you.
All right. Thanks, Pete. All righty. We're going to take another break here in Glory Days, and when we get back, we'll talk to Islanders blogger B.D. Galoff. And if you hang around, we'll talk to a member of the 7 Lime Army that invaded San Diego last Saturday and witnessed baseball history. It was baseball history.
Yes, it was.
Stay with us. You're watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. Coming right back. You should come back, too.
This is Joe Larson. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or the flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural.
And organic.
But strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco here on the Inravio TV network. Last Sunday afternoon, the Islanders season came to a disappointing end that they were shut out in Tampa, ending their second-round series with a thud, losing in 5 games. The Lightning won 2 overtime games in Brooklyn, and both times when the Islanders had a third-period lead. But the Islanders made progress this year with their second consecutive regular season over 100 points and getting the monkey off their back by winning their first playoff series since 1993. But once again, they came up way short of their goal, and once again, their shortcomings were very evident. They still need a scorer to complement John Tavares. They need to close out opponents in the third period. They also have to make some hard decisions on some unrestricted free agents this year. Kyle Poso, Franz Nielsen, Matt Martin.
And they have new ownership coming in,
and new ownership starting in July. On our phone is a man who has a number of theories about what direction General Manager Garth Snow should take and why. So please welcome back to the program, B.D. Galoff. B.D., how are you?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Good. All righty. So we saw, I read your article, and everybody, by the way, you should go to Isley's Beat, ISLESbeat.com. And you could read all about, BD's got some really good ideas. Do you think the Islanders listen to you?
I don't know, but I do think it just gives a framework of what they're kind of dealing with this summer. Because, that one of the things, as soon as they were clearing out their lockers when the series was over, was that, Hominick had rescinded his trade demand, and he'll be remaining. And what that does is it takes away one of the Islanders' best chips to get a top forward, because top forwards really are not traded very often, and when they are, it's for a top player, and they really don't have a lot to work with unless they were using Hominick. So now, and that's what the last blog was really about, was trying to give a framework of, all right, well, that's now, changes things for them, because I think that he would have been dealt for a forward at the NHL draft, and now it's all up in the air.
That whole thing was kind of bizarre. I mean, he asked to be traded. It became public. And I think we talked about this when we had John last time. Is that with everybody knowing that Garth Snow really has been asked to trade this guy, he's looking to get value, and everybody's looking to fleece him. Is what they're looking to do. So he couldn't trade him. And as you said, everybody presumed that it would happen in the off-season here. And now that really threw a monkey wrench in everything here.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It seemed to be some sort of family reason, and whatever situation that was, I guess it seemed dire over the summer and maybe not so dire now, and that's why it got rescinded. I think things settled for him. So I think it's, whatever personal family issue was going on has changed, and that's a good thing. And Hominick is, homegrown and developed, and really, they used him even this year as a part of the top pairing for the first time.
And his stock went up in the postseason. I mean, he had a great postseason.
Well,
one of the few defensemen that did.
Right, he was hurt the last postseason.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, this is a guy that you know, is eating up 29 minutes a game.
Yeah. Now he's one of their key players. Him, Letty. I thought Boychuk didn't exactly have the greatest of years.
Yeah.
And he kind of fell to the second pairing, which is not the worst case scenario because you know they're all considered top four, so that's okay. You hope that he bounces back, but you know Hominick started getting used in a place that I don't know if he really was, but some teams might consider him a top pairing. But I really still think he's a top three kind of guy. But,
and Pollock emerged
too.
Pollock, yeah. I liked watching Pollock move with the puck. I thought Hickey had a great postseason. You know they're going to have you know they have a solid 6 guys, 6 defensive, but you got to figure you got Pellish, Adam Pellish, you got Scott Mayfield. These guys are going to have to crack a lineup somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that this it'll be very interesting because there's defensive depth. Look, Brian Strait will not be there next year.
Right.
You know, Hickey really is going to have to fight for his job a little bit. You know, Pollock's going to be playing. Pellick will be there, and maybe Mayfield. Maybe they use, you know, Pellick or Mayfield in some sort of trade deal. I don't know. It's certainly not going to be somebody that gets a top forward, but it could be the kind of situation where it's packaged with, you know, somebody else to get something that they need in another area.
Who do you think is a good trade partner for them?
Well, you know, it's two-tier. It depends on what they're looking for. If a team is looking for, you know, younger and cheaper, you know, if they're tough against the cap, and there's a lot of teams that, you know, there's a good 6 teams that are really tight against the cap ceiling, and you know that was previously Hominick's great value because of his contract, and that's also because, you know, Ryan Strome is an RFA this summer and is not going to be paid that much.
Right.
This might be you know, some teams might consider. Let's say, you know, could Colorado be considering moving Duchesne if it gets them a defensive piece like Mayfield and Michael Dalcol in a package or something like that? It's feasible.
Well, I think the cap helped the Islanders obviously get both Letty and Boychuk.
Yeah, sure.
2 years ago.
Sure.
And it gives them they've really been very careful not to be smashed against the cap, so they have some room. So, you know, if they can get a player like Duchesne over in Colorado, and it's really up in the air because I don't think it's going to be that easy to get a forward.
So let's talk about, I guess, free agents then.
Well, even before that, though, I mean, we got a new ownership coming in, right? I mean,
that's true.
So do you think that Gaunt Snow is going to be around, and how about Capuano, too?
Yes, they're all going to still be there.
Okay.
I had reported that during the year, based on sources saying that nothing was going to change. These owners have already been looped in. He's been working with them well over a year. You know that Charles still retains a voice as a minority interest, and lo and behold, on the conference call this week with Garth Snow, he was asked finally that question and said the same exact thing. So nothing is. His plan is still in place. Coaching is, you know, they are leaving him alone. So, and as far as I'm understanding, they're very impressed with his, you know, being so long-term vision. Remember, the ownership. I know that fans all want the championship. We all understand that. But the owners are, you know, worried about making a buck and being competitive in the long term. And I think they like Garth for that.
You know, they made money this year for the first time because of their deal with Barclays that assured them of making money no matter what happened. Do you think that, I know you had talked about free agents not wanting to come here because of that. What do you think? Why do you think they wouldn't want to come here?
Well, there's a bunch of different things. It's one of the things is, Florida gets, a lot of Islander fans look at Florida Panthers and they're saying, why are they getting all the free agents?
Right.
Well, part of that is climate, part of that is facilities that are down there, and part of that is the taxes that are down there. New York is a very expensive place to live. People don't always have the perception, especially with the Islanders over the years being basically the laughing stock for so long. They don't always realize coming in. Remember how pissed Nabokov was when they grabbed him on waivers.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, after playing, he loved it here. So there's a perception, I think, still going on, and it's going to take a while to break. And people were making a big deal about the travel to Brooklyn, which was ridiculous because so many other teams, the Rangers in Westchester, L.A., all these teams do the same exact thing, but everybody outside Long Island makes a big deal out of it, like it's some sort of special thing, and it's not.
Well, I think it was. I think it was
they
more
fight perception.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly, perception. Because I think with the Islanders, it was not the fact that they had to do it. I mean, with the Rangers, when you join the Rangers, you know that's your situation. You understand that you're not going to be, you either live in the city and take an Uber to work, or if you're going to choose to live in Westchester, you're going to have to drive. With the Islanders, I think it was more or less we had something that was really good, and now we have something that's so foreign to us. But you know what? When it came playoff time, the fans showed up.
Well, and it's interesting you mention that because Pete had talked about the fact that the Islanders were playing in 82 away games. So and at the beginning of the season, they didn't have a good home record. They wound up with a pretty good home record. I mean, it wasn't the top in the league, but they were 25-11, and they figured it out. Is what happened. So like BD said, there's other teams that the same thing. It took them a little while to get into a rhythm and really figure out the right thing to do, but they figured that out.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what about their own unrestricted free agents? Oposo, Nielsen,
and Martin.
What do we do with them? I mean, wouldn't it just behoove the Islanders to try and sign them? And are they going to have? Do you think they'll have a bigger budget with the new owners?
No, not really. I think that the budget is the same, just like they were looped in to begin with. Their budget that fans don't realize when they're. I mentioned it last year during the summer that these teams, all teams, actually have a budget. People look at the room that they have to the cap ceiling and not realize that ownership gives the GMs a budget also, and it gives them. I think it also gives them some wiggle room in case of injury and emergency, get a player and that you have some wiggle room, and that's what the Islanders will probably be doing again this year. I don't think the budget changes very much. I think that Garth has a lot of room to make the team better, but the question is, does it hurt them in the long term? If you grab somebody and pay top dollar, are you putting in jeopardy re-signing John Tavares and also being able to sign other players when needs arise?
So let me ask you, you got three guys. You can only sign one of them. Which one do you want?
Well, I think that Franz probably has the best chance of being re-signed. I think it's a coin flip. I think it's a 50-50. I think Matt Martin depends on, the Islanders, as far as I hear, are not going to overpay for fourth liners because they saw what happened in Boston. One of the things that killed the Bruins and, got the GM fired and who's now over in Edmonton with Chiarelli was that he overpaid for fourth liners. And the fact is, fourth liners, despite the line being great, are expendable. And, Matt Martin gets a lot of hits, but hits don't always mean everything. And usually if you look at the hit list in the NHL, it's usually littered with bad teams. Mm-hmm. So, the fact is, winning teams don't always require hits. That's not the, so it's really going to depend on Matt Martin here, willing to take, maybe it's a one-year deal. Maybe, I think it's probably a 1 in 4 chance. I think it's about a 25% chance. And I think Kyle Oposo is basically, right now, priced himself off the team. He, the market really bears this.
All right, we're running up against the break here. I got a quickie question. Who's in the Stanley Cup Finals?
I think it's very interesting that Tampa has already beat Pittsburgh once.
Yeah.
I think Tampa could go right back again, and I think St. Louis.
All right, that's what we were talking about before. All right, man, we are completely out of time.
Good talking to you, BD.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking your time. And don't forget, go to, you still doing the fourthperiod.com?
I do the fourth period. I have to figure out what I'm going to do this year because I've been doing the Isles Beat podcast and I've been doing the Isles Beat blog. We'll see, but check me out on IslesBeat.com.
All right, thanks, BD. We will do that. Thanks.
All right, pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. That's BD Galoff. Time for another break. When we get back, we will talk to someone who witnessed Bartolo Colon's historic home run in San Diego. Stay with us. You watch The Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco only on the Inravio TV network. Coming right back.
over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. Advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce Disco here on the Inravio TV network. If you're a Met fan, well, you know all about the 7-line army, right?
Do you get drafted for that army or what?
I don't know if you could. I think you could get drafted into it.
Okay.
Anyway, they've been around for a couple of seasons, and they come into groups in Citi Field, and they're usually out by center field in that area there. But recently, they've been they've been invading other cities.
I see. Kind of like deadheads, following the Mets around the country.
You know, they've been invading other cities. Last Saturday, they were in San Diego.
San Diego.
They had 1,400 Met fans. They took over right field, all wearing the same orange, like an orange T-shirt. Everybody's wearing the same thing. Okay, and not only that, but they were witness to history. They got to see Bartolo Colon hit a home run, which of course is unbelievable.
He hit a colonic. I don't know.
That's disgusting. So on our phone is a member of the Seven Line Army. He's been to a couple of games at Citi Field, but this was his first, I believe, his first foray into
San Diego.
First time he was in San Diego, and I was surprised he even came back.
Yeah, it's a tough place to leave.
He's a good friend of the show. Please welcome Kevin. How do you pronounce that last name? Scalifani?
I did not want to come back.
I know, right? How great was San Diego?
It wasn't really my choice.
How great was San Diego, right?
It was fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about the Seven Line and what the basically what you guys were doing out there.
Basically, it's just a very large group of fans, 1,400 of us, all bought tickets on the 7line.com for this game. What the guy Darren, who owns it, does is he just buys up a couple sections in a stadium and then resells the tickets to fans, gives everybody a T-shirt, and you get a ticket and a T-shirt for like $50.
So now, it was a little different this time because not only were you guys all sitting in the same section, you're in a foreign city, so to speak. Not like you're in a foreign country, but San Diego is as foreign to New York as you could possibly be. But you guys all gathered well, not all of you, but a good portion of you gathered at McFadden's, which was what, about 2 blocks from the stadium?
Yeah, I think this was the first time that they did that, where pretty much everybody was in McFadden's for a couple hours before the game. It was packed.
And they were all drinking soft drinks and colas.
They weren't getting lubed up, huh?
Hawaiian punch.
Actually, we have. Can we show a little bit of that footage? So this is a little bit of. We're showing a little bit of the footage. Now, you guys took over the entire street.
It was a true invasion.
Kind of like Attila the Hun there.
The streets were not closed down. We just pretty much stopped traffic for a couple blocks. Which, I mean, in San Diego, there's not really that much traffic anyway.
Now, was this before the game or after the game?
Before the game.
Before the game, okay.
We all walked. Everybody walked over as one giant group.
Oh, that was good because it looks like a lot of those people couldn't drive anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what time that game was. That game was at 4 o'clock in New York?
No, it was a night game.
Okay.
Street going over cars as we were walking to the stadium.
No, you're right. It was 4. So this is a 5 o'clock in the afternoon game, right?
Yeah, I think it was 4 o'clock, but yeah, it was an afternoon game.
Yeah, because we here at...
And this is that Saturday game? This is the game where Cologne hit the home run?
Yes.
Yeah, the Colts.
That's unbelievable.
So let's talk for a little bit. So first of all, so you guys are all in the same section. I know that you guys they do a lot of chanting. They do, and you know the players just love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I think we had like 6 sections.
6 sections, wow.
Something like that.
And I think we even talked a little bit, Bruce was asking if Jim Brewer was at the game.
He was at the game. I didn't actually see him. He was like not near us, but he was there.
He had been in the building. Okay.
He was in the building. So now you're at this game and you're just watching it, and it just seems to be a great experience because you're with Met fans. You're in San Diego. The Mets, I think, were winning 2-0 at the time.
Oh,
and
great.
then Bartolo Colon comes up. Okay. Now, Because you had pretty good vantage of it from out in right field, so you guys could probably see the trajectory of the ball. Did you know it was going out?
I kind of did, but at the same time, I was like, "There's no way."
It didn't just through the fence there, Kevin. It went out by a lot, man.
The most amazing thing I've ever seen at a sporting event.
What was it? It was more or less.
And you know what made it historic, right? I mean, it's because it was the oldest player to have their first home run.
He's going to be 43 next week.
Yeah.
He's going to be 43 years old. Now, for me,
as
a baseball fan,
to hit a home run.
Well, for me, as a Met fan, I didn't realize that the game was an afternoon game. I thought it was a 10:30 start.
Oh, yeah?
Right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't even watching it. I was watching a movie with my wife.
I see.
Right? And after the movie was over, it was about 10:30 or so. I guess the game had been, it was now, I turned on the Met game, it was in the 7th inning.
Yeah, you sent me a text, and actually, I had seen it live. I was watching the game. I knew what time the game was on.
I didn't know. So I'm watching the game, and Cologne is not struggling, but it's 4-3. They're winning.
Got a smile on his face as usual.
No. Ron Darling says this is probably his last batter, right? And sure enough, he gets the out, and he comes off the field, and Gary Cohen says, "This will forever be remembered as the Bartolo Cologne game." And the first thing I said was, "What could he possibly have done?"
He gave up 3 runs.
It's 4-3. It's not a no-hitter or anything.
He hit it, and I'm watching the ball, and I just start laughing.
Yeah, that is exactly what. Actually, we have a picture. Can we show that picture? A screen grab, and there you are in the upper corner there. But there is a guy in front of you, just as we're looking here to the left. He's just got his arms out wide, and in another, if we were watching this on the video, all he is doing is he's got his arms outstretched, and he's looking up to the sky and laughing. Everybody, it was just the most joyous event you could ever have at a baseball game.
It was definitely something else. Yeah, it was great. There were Mets chants all day, and it was real funny because there were like a couple of like seats here and there in the middle of all of us that were Padres fans.
Really?
I said I'm going to the game. Should I stay? And then we get there and they're surrounded by
obnoxious New Yorkers.
You know what probably happened? Probably people that had bought 7-line tickets, maybe they had to resell them, they couldn't go or something. That's the only thing. Because why would a Padre fan?
That's funny.
But anyway, all right, Kevin. So when are you moving out to San Diego?
I'm looking for jobs.
Well, they have hospitals out there that have medical records departments.
No comment, huh?
Okay. All right, man. Hey, thanks for taking the time. We got to go. We're about out of time for the show.
Great talking to you, Kevin.
All right, Kevin. That's my son, Kevin.
Yeah.
What an experience that must have been.
Yeah, I didn't get into my San Diego experience.
No, that's not a good idea. Not for the show. We need a little more time for that one.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know what? What did we learn today?
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that I learned from talking to B.D. Galoff is I really thought that maybe the GM and the coach position was kind of up for grabs a little bit with these new owners coming in. And he had said that it had been confirmed already, that basically they were not going to make any of these changes initially.
I'm surprised because I thought that they need to change that coach.
Yeah, I think so too. I like Jack Capuano, but you know what? We always said he looks uncomfortable. He looks uncomfortable being in front of the camera. He looks uncomfortable being in a suit.
But they all say he's a great guy.
I'm sure he is. But you need. I think for us to go to the next step, we need a high-profile coach.
He was voted the hockey coach most likely you would want to have a beer with.
Well, yeah, okay.
One other thing I want to say before we say thank you. Len Dykstra.
What's he doing now?
Is on Twitter.
Oh, yeah?
You could follow.
Are you following him?
I am following Len Dykstra on Twitter. He is the most entertaining Twitter guy ever. And when we come back next time, I'll share some of the Len Dykstra tweets. He asked all his fans, he says, would you rather have me tweet live during the Met-Dodger game or tweet live during an episode of Full House. And they voted for Full House, so he tweeted what was going on in
Full House. All right.
All right. Thanks to our producers, Kyle Melnick and Brittany Berger and Matt Burnson. You have a good time, Matt?
Give us a thumbs up. I think that was a thumb. I don't know. All right. It was a finger.
They make us look really good out here. Thanks, BD Galoff and Pete Torgerson, for helping us out with our hockey coverage. Don't forget, you can follow BD on Twitter at BD Galoff, and you could read his hockey blogs at thefourthperiod.com and islesbeat.com. Also, thanks to Kevin for sharing his 7-line Army experience and that video of the
that was
invasion.
Cool. That was definitely cool.
Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, putting up with this nonsense week after week and allowing us to bring you this type of quality programming. And of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. Don't forget, you could check out the Glory Days On Demand page at www.inravio.com, and you can watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the Inravio TV network. Oh, got to take time out to wish my wife a happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Barbara.
Because my wife doesn't watch the show, but just in case, on the odd chance she is. Happy birthday, darling. We're taking the next 2 weeks off, so you're on your own until June 4th, when we return with a brand spanking new show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you next time.